So you're going to have your slump bowl, and you need to have it on a messy mat. You're also going to have black underglaze and a large paintbrush. You're going to carefully paint one layer of the black underglaze onto your slump bowl or platter. You want to just do one nice layer at a time, painting carefully, especially if you're doing edges, and keeping those nice and even. Once your first layer is done, you're going to let it dry and then paint your second layer. Again, painting that just nice and evenly, so you have two solid layers of underglaze on. You don't really want to have more than that. 2 layers is more than enough. Next, you're going to take your image you've already traced on your computer that you did for your plan sheet. You're going to cut it out and you're going to lay it on the area that you have just painted. Obviously, the underglaze needs to be dry when you're ready for this, but get it set, make sure it fits, and place it where you want it on your bowl. You're going to hold it down with one hand and take either a pen or a dull pencil and just trace. You're doing like pretty firm pressure so that you can see an imprint. So hold it down if you want to check your progress, and you should be able to pull it up and see like the imprint of what you've just done. Don't take it off. You always need to make sure that you have a hand that's holding it down. Otherwise, if it moves, it's really hard to get it back in place. But just continue tracing that, the outlines of your lines, any like small details that you need to trace so that it's all ready. You can see in this one that you can see like the outline now of where I will go through and engrave and kind of scratch out my design. The next step is to take a cleanup tool. The cleanup tool has a curve on one end and a flat spot on the other end, or a fine small point loop tool, and to go through that design that you just imprinted on with that cleanup tool and carve it out. So what will happen is as you do that, the clay will sort of get stuck in that little loop or in that little scoop, and you'll be able to kind of pull it out. Not doing this deeply, more in just like a little scratching way, but trying to stay on my lines, going slowly, making nice clean lines. If I have little pieces that are getting stuck in there, I'm not going to like brush them or anything like that. I can get them out in a little bit. So now I'm going to take a dry, clean paintbrush, and all those little pieces that I kind of scooped out, I can just brush them out. And making sure this paintbrush is clean, otherwise it'll leave marks all over my nice black lines. Now I'm going to take that cleanup tool or the small loop tool. I'm going to go through and add any of my small lines in and just continue to do this. It's a very light pressure. I'm just trying to basically scratch off the black underglaze. You can see that the thicker line is from the small loop tool, and the cleanup tool is much more of a fine line. I had some messy edges, so I'm kind of taking my cleanup tool and going around my edges to clean them up. But I will say this is a little bit hard. So only do this if you really need to, and if you have like really messy lines on your outside. Then I'm going to start going in and adding in my Zentangle patterns. This is something, if you need to trace these on, just like you did with your object of interest, you can. Otherwise, you can freehand them, but it's kind of up to you. I'm pretty comfortable with Sgraffito and with kind of knowing what I was going to do. So I felt comfortable freestyling it in, but it is completely okay to have like a pattern that you're just tracing again with like a pen and then taking that paper off and using your cleanup tool to get it in there. You're just going to keep doing that until you're all done.